Welcome back, everybody. You know how much we all love dogs, right? So get ready to dive deep into the world of those furry companions, because we're talking all things canine.
It's amazing how these creatures who share our lives still have so many mysteries to uncover.
Seriously. And today they're talking super sniffers, hidden talents, and whoa, those incredible senses dogs have. Let's be honest, we've all seen our dog go crazy for a treat, but did you know their sense of smell is like next level?
On a whole other level, we're talking 300 million scent receptors compared to our measly 5 million. It's mind-blowing.
300 million. So it's not just about finding that dropped kibble. What can they actually do with that kind of sniffer power?
Well, for starters, they can smell things we can't even fathom, changes in someone's blood sugar, an oncoming seizure. They can even detect certain types of cancer just through scent.
Wait, really? Are you telling me dogs could be like medical heroes?
In a way, absolutely. They're picking up on these subtle chemical changes that sometimes even our most advanced medical equipment misses. It's remarkable.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. But on a lighter note, I always wondered, why the wet noses? Is that just a dog thing?
It's not just for cuteness. That wetness actually helps them smell even better. It's like how a wet paintbrush picks up color more vibrantly. The moisture helps capture those scent molecules. And get this, they can even smell our emotions.
Hold on. Are you saying my dog knows when I'm stressed?
Maybe not mind reading, but they can definitely sense changes in our hormones, which are closely linked to our emotions. So yeah, they probably do pick up on when you're feeling stressed, happy, or anxious, all through that incredible nose.
Wow, I guess all those times my dog snuggled up to me when I was feeling down makes sense now. You know what else blows my mind? I heard that when dogs are doing their business, sniffing around for that perfect spot, they might actually be aligning themselves with the Earth's magnetic field.
There's actually research suggesting just that. It's like our furry friends have a built-in compass.
A compass? That's wild. You know, we're talking about super sniffers, but what about their brains? What's going on in those adorable heads?
Well, get this. Some dogs can learn over 1,000 words. That's basically the vocabulary of a human toddler.
No way. So they're having full-on conversations in their heads.
We can't be sure about the conversations, but their capacity for language is incredible. And it's not just words. They can learn math, solve puzzles, even recognize themselves in a mirror, which some primates struggle with.
Wow, and I thought my yellow dog was a genius for figuring out how to open the treat jar.
That's just the beginning. Did you know about Barry, the heroic mountain rescue dog? Saved over 40 lives in the Swiss Alps.
Seriously, a dog saved 40 lives. What kind of dog was Barry?
He was a Saint Bernard, known for their strength, intelligence, and incredible loyalty. They've been used as rescue dogs for centuries.
That's amazing. It's incredible how certain breeds have these natural abilities. Okay, my mind is officially blown and we're just getting started. What else have you got?
Well, get ready to be even more amazed because we're diving into the world of dog breeds. The history, the quirks, the unbelievable diversity. It's a wild ride.
Oh, I love this part. From those tiny purse pals to the big fluffy cuddle monsters, there's a dog breed out there for everyone. So where do we even begin with all this?
Let's kick things off with a classic, the Labrador Retriever. They've been one of the most popular breeds for ages and for good reason. They're friendly, outgoing, and super smart. But here's something you might not know. They're not actually from Labrador.
Wait, what?
You heard that right. They actually come from Newfoundland, hence the love of water. They were bred as fishermen's helpers retrieving nets, even rescuing people who fell overboard.
No way. So they're basically like furry little lifeguards with wagging tails.
Pretty much. And speaking of water-loving dogs, Newfoundlands, now those dogs were practically born to swim. They've got those webbed feet, a water-resistant coat. They're amazing lifeguards, too.
Wow. Gentle giants on land, heroes in the water. This is amazing. Okay, what other fascinating breed facts do you have up your sleeve?
Well, let's talk about the Greyhound. Those sleek speed demons can really fly. We're talking reaching speeds up to 45 miles per hour.
45 miles an hour. That's faster than I drive on the highway. No wonder they dominate those racetracks.
They were born to run. But here's something even more mind-blowing. A greyhound could actually beat a cheetah in a long-distance race.
Hold on, what? How's that even possible? Cheetahs are lightning fast.
You're right, cheetahs are much faster sprinters, but greyhounds have the endurance. They can hold a good speed for a much longer time.
Wow, I never would have guessed that. I guess slow and steady really does win the race sometimes.
And sometimes brains over brawn is the way to go. And speaking of brains, let's talk border collies, often considered one of the most intelligent dog breeds out there.
Ah, yes, the border collie. The Einstein of the dog world. I've heard stories about their herding abilities and how quickly they learn new commands. Is it true they can learn a zillion tricks?
Well, maybe not a zillion, but their learning capacity is remarkable. They need a lot of mental and physical stimulation, but they're eager to please and highly trainable.
Sounds like they're always one step ahead. I bet those dogs excel in all those dog sports, don't they?
You bet. Agility, obedience, herding, you name it, they can probably do it. And their work ethic, unmatched. They were bred to work, after all.
From herding sheep to winning agility courses, they really do it all. Okay, on to a slightly less intense, but equally adorable breed. The French Bulldog. Those bat ears get me every time. But tell me, are those squishy faces hiding a big personality?
You better believe it. French Bulldogs, or Frenchies as they're affectionately called, are known for their playful personalities and affectionate nature. Wonderful companions.
They do seem like the perfect lap dogs. Are they good apartment dogs, though? I feel like I see them everywhere in the city.
Absolutely. They don't need a ton of exercise. They're relatively low energy.
That's good to know. I've always thought they were adorable, but I wasn't sure if my small apartment would be a good fit.
As long as you give them some playtime, a couple of walks a day, they'll be perfectly content. They're more interested in cuddling on the couch than going for a marathon run.
That actually sounds right up my alley. Speaking of dogs who love to cuddle, how about those fluffy charmers, the Shih Tzus? Those long flowing locks are like something out of a fairy tale.
But tell me, is there more to these dogs than meets the fluffy exterior?
Oh, absolutely. Their history is just as grand as their looks. Shih Tzus, believe it or not, were originally bred as companion dogs for Chinese royalty. Talk about a pampered pooch.
Wow. From palace life to snuggling on the sofa. But those luscious locks have to require a lot of upkeep, right?
Oh, definitely. Daily brushing, regular baths, those are a must.
That's a small price to pay for a loving and devoted companion. Speaking of companions, let's talk about a breed that's near and dear to my heart, the Dachshund. I mean, who can resist those short little legs and that long sausage-like body? So tell me, what's the story behind these adorable little wiener dogs?
They're one of a kind, that's for sure. Dachshunds, or wiener dogs, were originally bred in Germany to hunt badgers.
Now, badgers. Really, those tiny legs don't seem very intimidating. Don't let their size fool you. They're courageous dogs with a surprisingly loud bark. Those badgers didn't stand a chance. Plus, those short legs, that long body, perfect for navigating badger burrows.
Wow, who knew those little legs held so much power?
They're full of surprises. But as much as we love their unique physique, it's important to be mindful of their backs.
Oh, right. Because of those long spines. They're prone to back problems.
Yeah.
No doggy parkour for these guys.
Exactly. It's best to avoid any activities that could put stress on their backs. Gentle walks and lots of cuddles are the way to go.
Duly noted. We want to keep those little wiener dogs happy and healthy for years to come.
Absolutely. Now let's journey to some colder climates and talk about Siberian Huskies.
Oh, the Siberian Husky. Those striking blue eyes. The wolf-like features. Mesmerizing. But there's got to be more to these dogs than just good looks, right?
You bet. They were originally bred as sled dogs by the Chukchi people of Siberia. Their endurance and strength are legendary. Plus, they can handle some seriously cold temperatures.
They sound like the ultimate adventure buddies. But with all that energy, I bet they need a lot of exercise.
You got that right. They're not really cut out for apartment living.
Noted. I'll make sure to recommend a spacious backyard and plenty of outdoor adventures for any aspiring husky owners.
Good call. After all, they were bred to run.
And how? But enough about exercise. I'm dying to know more about those piercing blue eyes. Is there a story behind them? Or is it just good genetics?
It's partly genetics, but those striking eyes are also incredibly helpful in those snowy environments.
How so?
Well, they have this adaptation called tapetum lucidum. It acts like a mirror, reflecting light back into their retinas. They can see incredibly well in low-light conditions, which is crucial in the Arctic.
Wow. That's like having built-in night vision goggles.
Exactly. Perfectly adapted for their environment.
Nature is amazing. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. From super sniffers to sled dogs. I'm starting to feel like I need a PhD in canine studies after all this. We've covered some serious ground, from those super sniffers to sled dogs, but we're not done yet. There are still so many cool facts and surprising stories about our canine companions. What do you say we dive back in?
I am game if you are. I think we left off talking about those Siberian Huskies and their incredible night vision.
Oh, right, those piercing blue eyes. But you know, speaking of incredible adaptations, have you ever heard that dogs only see in black and white?
Ah, yes, the classic dog myth. While it's true their color vision isn't as vibrant as ours, it's a myth that they only see in black and white.
Oh, really? So what colors can they see?
They actually see shades of blue, yellow, and gray. Imagine a more muted version of our own color vision.
So, not quite a black and white world for our canine companions after all. I guess that old saying about dogs being colorblind is officially debunked. What other dog myths are we busting today?
How about this one? Dogs sweat through their tongues.
Oh, I've totally heard that one. It makes sense, right? They pant when they're hot, their tongues hang out.
It seems logical, but it's not quite the whole story. While panting does help them regulate their temperature by evaporating moisture from their tongues and lungs, the main way dogs sweat is actually through their paw pads.
Their paws. No way. I had no idea.
Yep. Those little paw pads are working overtime on a hot day to keep them cool.
You learn something new every day. Okay, I've got one for you. Is it true that all greyhounds are super high energy because they're bred for racing?
That's a common misconception. While they're definitely capable of incredible speed on the racetrack, a lot of greyhounds are actually quite laid back.
Really?
Oh yeah, they enjoy lounging around just as much as the next dog.
I guess you can only run so fast before you need a nap, right? Speaking of naps, I've always wondered about those quirky sleeping positions dogs get themselves into. Is there a reason behind those adorable contortions? Or are they just being goofy?
A little bit of both, actually. Remember that instinct to dig we talked about earlier, how they like to create those cozy dens?
Yeah, like it's their way of feeling safe and secure.
Exactly. Curling up in a ball is kind of the same thing. It's an instinctual behavior from those wild ancestors, a way to conserve body heat and protect their vital organs.
Makes sense. It's like their own little protective bubble. So it's a combination of instinct and, of course, maximum cuteness. You know, we've been talking a lot about dog behavior and those amazing instincts, but I'm curious about the human side of things too. Like, where do some of these dog-related sayings come from? For example, the dog days of summer. I always thought it had something to do with dogs getting lazy in the heat.
That's a common assumption. But the real story is way more interesting. It actually goes back to the ancient Romans. They noticed that the star Sirius, which they called the dog star, would rise and set with the sun during the hottest part of summer.
So those scorching hot days became associated with the dog star, hence dog days of summer. That's fascinating. I love those little linguistic nuggets that connect us to history. Speaking of history, can we talk about some famous dogs throughout time? We have to mention Lassie, right? The ultimate symbol of canine loyalty and courage. What kind of dog was she, anyway?
Lassie, the star of countless books, films, television shows. She was a rough collie.
A rough collie. Those beautiful, long-haired dogs with the piercing gaze. I can see why they chose that breed to represent such a heroic character.
Definitely. Their intelligence, their trainability, their loyalty, they embody those heroic qualities.
And speaking of intelligence, I can't forget about Rin Tin Tin, that incredible German shepherd who was one of the first canine movie stars.
Oh, Rin Tin Tin was a true icon. Starred in silent films, even made the transition to talkies. His intelligence and athleticism amazed audiences back then.
A true pioneer for dogs in Hollywood. From Lassie to Rin Tin Tin, it seems like dogs have always had a special place in our hearts and our entertainment. But you know who I think deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award for dog stardom? Those adorable, short-legged stars of the silver screen. The Taco Bell Chihuahua.
You quiero Taco Bell. I can still hear that little voice in my head.
Right. So iconic. But you know what's interesting? I always assumed it was a male dog, but it turns out the Taco Bell Chihuahua was actually a female Chihuahua named Gidget.
You're right. It just goes to show we make assumptions based on appearances, even in the dog world. Speaking of appearances, let's talk about those iconic Dalmatian spots for a second. Did you know those spots aren't actually there when they're born?
Like, really? So how do they get those signature spots?
It's true. Dalmatian puppies are born completely white, and those spots gradually start to appear as they get older.
That's incredible. So each Dalmatian spots are truly unique, like our fingerprints.
Exactly. It's just one of the many things that make dogs so fascinating. Speaking of fascinating, are you ready to delve into some more breed-specific trivia? We've still got a lot of ground to cover.
Bring it on. I'm ready for more. Okay, so we were talking about Dalmatian spots, but they're not the only ones with a surprising coat story, right?
You're thinking about poodles. That fancy sculpted haircut. It's quite a look.
Yeah, it's always seemed a little over the top to me. What's the real story behind that haircut?
Believe it or not, it was all about practicality. Poodles were originally bred as water retrievers, fetching game for hunters.
Really? I always picture them at a dog show, not splashing around a duck pond.
Well, they were working dogs first. And those poofy pom-poms, Pure strategy. They kept the dog's joints warm in cold water while the rest of their coat was trimmed short for better movement.
Wow, that's amazing. A haircut for both fashion and function. Only a poodle. Okay, so speaking of staying warm, what about those powerful sled dogs? Like the Alaskan Malamute. They were made for the cold. How much can they actually pull?
Get ready for this adult male. Malamutes can pull up to 12 times their own body weight.
No way. That's incredible.
It's true. They are the heavy lifters of the dog world.
Wow. Okay, so I bet those thick coats do more than just look pretty.
You know it. Those double coats are like built-in winter parkas. They can withstand temperatures as low as 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Minus 70. I can barely handle a light frost. Okay, let's talk about a different kind of tough for it. The Rottweiler. They have a reputation, don't they?
The Rottweiler. Powerful and loyal. They have that guarding instinct.
I can definitely see that. They're intelligent, strong, but like you always say, it comes down to training, right?
100%. A well-trained Rottweiler can be an incredible companion. Any breed can be, with the right approach.
Well said. Every dog, no matter what breed, deserves a loving home. Well, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of dogs. From super sniffers to sled dogs, those incredible noses to those wagging tails. What an amazing journey.
It really has. There's just so much to learn and appreciate about our canine companions, isn't there?
Absolutely. And all you dog lovers out there, I hope you learned something new today. Maybe you even see your furry best friend in a whole new light. Until next time, keep those tails wagging.